My name is Karen Costa. I live and work in Massachusetts, fully online. I've been teaching fully online and working fully online since about 2012. I teach as an adjunct at a few different institutions, and I also do a lot of faculty development and support work, increasingly around this topic of climate action pedagogy. The tagline or motto that I want to start with is action is an antidote to despair. The vast majority of scientists are telling us that we are rapidly moving toward planetary conditions that are incompatible with human life. That's the gentlest way I can say the very scary things that we're facing. So we have this very terrifying present and future ahead of us. And many of us, when we feel that fear, that terror, we turn away from that. And it's self-protective. It's reasonable to turn away from it. It's very human of us to turn away from it. But that turning away from that very scary thing means that we're not taking action to address it. So climate action pedagogy is designed to sort of dive into that tension of these very scary, hard things that we are facing that we want to turn away from, but we need to face them in order to take action. So the model of climate action pedagogy is about doing small local things in supportive, loving communities. And that is through lived experience and the research we're getting on climate action and climate anxiety. That is the path sort of into and through that tension that can help us to face those fears and to find ways to create positive change in our community and worldwide, facing this really big problem. I think that higher education is so uniquely, perfectly positioned to do this work because we're about learning, and we've got a lot of learning to do. We've got to learn and unlearn about mindsets, about our relationship to the natural world and our responsibility to the natural world of which we are a part. So this is the time. We are the generation. This is here. This is now. I know it's scary, but we can do hard things, and we can do that in supportive, loving communities. So I want to specifically call out and name mental health and mental illness concerns and trauma in the classroom. When I designed climate action pedagogy, it was born out of a time in my life where I felt personally terrified, overwhelmed, and hopeless. And this problem is so big. There's no, what can I possibly do? Little old me, what can I possibly do to address that? And I was guided with some support to the next best step, which was to look at where I have power. What can I do? There's a motto in the climate action field that says, all jobs are climate jobs, which is a way to say you don't have to become someone else to do this work. You can look at where you already have strength, where you already have comfort and connections and resources, and you can start doing climate action work right there. So I said to myself, I'm in the faculty development space. How can I take climate action in the faculty development space? And this climate action pedagogy model was born out of that feeling of despair. So from day one, I have built in the mental health and mental illness piece and the trauma awareness piece and the inclusivity piece. That those things are baked into this model. They weren't attached to it as an afterthought. Again, with that idea that action is an antidote to despair. So we have excellent research that a sense of purpose and meaning is protective and healing for some of those challenges I mentioned: mental health, mental illness, and trauma. A sense of purpose and meaning is protective and healing. And when we do those things, when we make them small, make them feel possible, and when we do them in loving, supportive communities, again, they are protective and healing. So climate action pedagogy was always designed from day one to address not only climate change, but also these, competing crises of trauma and mental illness in our classrooms. The first thing I want to share is what previous faculty who have gone through this model have shared with me. I always ask educators, and I say educators, faculty and staff and executive leadership, all of us together as educators, when they start this workshop, I say, how are you feeling about climate change and climate action? And they say, scared, like an imposter, terrified, confused, uncertain. When they finish going through some of these workshops, they say things like, I feel excited, inspired, happy, fun, connected. And that is the most thrilling part of this work for me, is that I truly believe there is a way to do this that can lessen our anxieties and fears about this, that can take meaningful action to change this course that we are on, and to help us not only survive in the long term, but to thrive in the immediate. I think there's a way to do that. And that's what we're hearing from faculty who've gone through this. This doesn't feel like one more thing added to your plate. That's not how I operate, and that's not what we're here to do. I'm not here to add more things for faculty and educators to do. This is about being more strategic and more skillful in prioritizing the pedagogies that are needed at this moment in time. So faculty and educators who go through this can expect to have a shift sort of in that emotional relationship to this work. They can also expect a big picture model that I'll share with them. So the model of climate action pedagogy is based on 3 core elements: accessibility, learning experience design, and emergent strategy. So you'll get an intro to all of those, and they're woven together to help you do this work. And then last but not least, if anybody's learned with me before, I love checklists and I love templates. So I love really practical, simple, hands-on solutions, and I have resources, an abundance of resources to share with folks. That said, the last thing you can expect is that I will give you a call to action to not try to do all of this by any means, but to find one small thing you can do in the coming months to start down this climate action pedagogy path, or to strengthen what you're already doing. One small thing that you can do. So this will feel very reasonable, attainable, and it will be done in a loving, supportive community.